So regarding the competition policy, normally we cite the example that in monopoly there is allocative inefficiency, and also due to also the some technical inefficiency, because the monopoly firms are normally protected, there is no competition, so that's why there is some deadweight loss in the under monopoly, the loss in social welfare, which is simply due to allocative inefficiency as well as the technical inefficiency. That means suboptimal level of consumption and suboptimal level of production. But if we will go to the alternative views of competition, views not of alternative views regarding the competition policies. So, in the standard theories of monopoly, perfect competition, the comparison, here we forget one thing, or they do not consider one thing, that is the monopolist, they have sufficient resource in their hand to go for some research and development. That means to go for some innovation through which they can introduce a better technical production. So in that case, we will find that the deadweight loss or the efficiency loss, that should be thought in some different way. We will have some different way of thought whenever we will consider the chance of technological progress, the chance of reducing the cost of production, and chance of innovation. So as per Williamson, that the firms in the market, the big firms in the market, sometimes they go for merger, or they go for some contract to become a monopolist, by which they can exploit the resources for further development. So now we will show with the help of a diagram that if the monopolist can go for reducing cost, they will definitely reduce, there will be definitely technical efficiency, and the concept of deadweight loss or social welfare loss will be reversed now. So now we are considering a case. This is the market demand curve D, and this is the market demand curve D. First, let us consider it is a competitive market and LMC equals to LAC. This is, we consider it C1, which is constant. So now what we see, this C1 is the, we can say it LAC1 equals to LMC1. So what will be the equilibrium point? The intersection of demand curve and cost curve. So EC is the competitive equilibrium point, and the price will be equal to, competitive price will be P1 equals to C1. So this is the output level QC, or better we can say here that Q1. In vertical axis we are measuring price, revenue and cost. In horizontal axis we are measuring the quantity of output. So now in this, under this situation, that under competition output is OQ1. Market price equals to average cost equals to OP1. So in this case the firm will enjoy only normal profit, because revenue equals to cost equals to output multiplied by price equals to OC1. Sorry, it will be, I will write it OP1 ECQ1. Now let us consider the case of a monopolist which has undergone through some research and development, and for which they have reduced their cost substantially. So now if we consider this is the long run average cost of the monopolist, which is less than the long run average cost of the perfect competitive market. So now we draw the corresponding marginal revenue curve. So here what we see the equilibrium point is of the monopolist is EM. So this cost is OC2, EM, monopoly output level is OQ2, monopoly price is OP2. So what is the revenue of the monopolist? The price is OP2 multiplied by OQ2. So revenue of the monopolist will be equals to OQR Q2 multiplied by area of the rectangle OP2 BQ2. So OP2 BQ2 is the revenue of the monopolist. So cost of the monopolist will be, average cost is OC2, output is OQ2. So OC2 multiplied by OQ2 equals to OC2, area of the rectangle OC2 EM Q2. So definitely the firm is enjoying some supernormal profit which will be perceived as the producer surplus here. So producer surplus is the supernormal profit here. So it is C2 P2 B EM. So we can write here PS equals to, so area of the rectangle C2 P2 B EM. Now we should compare about the social welfare right now. So under perfect competition, OQ2 is the level of output. Under perfect competition, producer surplus is 0. Because price equals to exactly equal to the average cost of production, and average cost is constant here. Perfectly elastic supply. So now what will be the consumer surplus under monopoly? Sorry, under competition. So under competition, consumer surplus will be given as the difference between willingness to pay and actual payment of the consumers. So willingness to pay is, if this is the demand curve, willingness to pay will be OQ1 is the level of output. The willingness to pay of the consumer will be represented by the rectangle OAECQ1. So area of OAECQ1 minus the total revenue, you can say total revenue of the monopoly, total revenue under perfect competition, or in other words, the total expenditure of the consumers. So it will be equal to OP2 BQ. So that's why consumer surplus will be represented by the area of the triangle it will be AECC1. So total surplus in the economy will be exactly equal to the consumer surplus, because producer surplus is 0. But now if we consider what is the monopoly, if we consider the case of the monopoly, so what is the producer surplus now? Consumer surplus now, our price is OP2, output sold is OQ2. So total willingness to pay by the consumers will be represented by the quadrangle OABQ2. And how much the consumers are paying? The consumers are paying OP2BQ2. Sorry, in the previous case, consumer surplus will be given as, this area will be consumer, the total cost expenditure of the OP1, or it will be O area of the rectangle OC1 ECQ1. So previously this is the consumer surplus A, EC, C1. Now what will be the consumer surplus? It will be A, B, P2. So here under monopoly, CS will be area of the rectangle, area of the triangle A, B, P2. So in this case, what do we see? The total surplus of the economy or social welfare, combining the producer surplus and consumer surplus, the sum of the producer and consumer surplus will be represented by the area CS plus PS. That means social welfare will be exactly equal to area A, B, P2, triangle A, B, P2 plus area of the rectangle C2, P2, B, EM. So, what is the loss in consumer surplus here? The loss in from shifting from competition to monopoly, the loss in consumer surplus will be represented by the area C1, P2, B, EC. But what is the gain in producer surplus? It will be C2, P2, B, EM. So what we see whenever there is the transfer from perfect competition to monopoly, the social welfare level is increasing. But still, due to technological efficiency, the producer surplus increases by this rectangle, and due to allocative inefficiency caused by that shift from perfect competition to monopoly, this total area will be the loss, out of which this part goes in the hand of the producers and this part goes to hand of none. But contrary to this, due to technical efficiency, the total surplus increases by this area C1, I can give it name G, C1, G, EM, C2. So the gain due to technological efficiency outweighs the loss due to allocative inefficiency for the shift from perfect competition to monopoly. So here actually what will be the gain due to technological efficiency and what is the volume of it and how much it is greater than the loss due to allocative inefficiency, that will be determined by the volume of decline in cost due to innovation. So higher the cost of innovation, higher the savings of cost due to innovation or cost saving due to innovation, or higher the decline in cost due to innovation, higher will be the possibility that the loss due to allocative inefficiency will be outweighed by the gain due to technological inefficiency. And next thing we can consider the case of so from here we can say that in previous part we have discussed that whenever there is a shift from perfect competition to monopoly without any technological progress, that time there is deadweight loss. So competition can be considered as a better form of market than monopoly. But today whenever we are considering the technological progress and innovation, we can say that monopoly ensures more technological efficiency, and that gain due to technological increase due to improvement in technological efficiency outweighs the loss caused by technological inefficiency. So in this perspective, we cannot say that monopoly is worse compared to the perfectly competitive market. Second thing, if we consider the case of natural monopoly, normally what we see that natural monopoly, if we show the case of natural monopoly with the help of a diagram, that this is output, this is price, revenue and cost. So this is the market demand. and this is the corresponding marginal revenue. So DMR. So this is the long run average cost of the firm which is continuously declining, and this is the long run marginal cost of the firm. So what will be the equilibrium point? This will be equilibrium point, and here the firm will sell the output. And so in this case what we see, that the market demand for such firms, such commodities are not, market demand is not sufficient so that the firm can reach the minimum efficient scale. So in this case what we see, that if it is a case of natural monopoly, natural monopolist is more cost effective compared to a competitive firm, because in such cases what happens, the cost of the fixed factors that covers a huge proportion of the total cost. So more is the level of production, less will be the average cost. The average cost will gradually decline. So in the case of natural monopoly, if we impose competition forcefully in this market, that will definitely create some kind of inefficiency, because we are distorting the natural situation. Another thing, the last thing but not the least, let us consider the analysis of Schumpeter. What does Schumpeter say? As per his convention, the reward of monopolist is the reward of its invention or innovation. Through innovation, a monopolist can take some advantage of cost, and by this it will end the competition in the market. So whenever we are considering innovation or technological progress, market power is the reward of technological progress for the operating monopolist. But one thing we have to remember here, that market power enjoyed by innovation or enjoyed by improving new technique, that is temporary. The market power can be enjoyed by the monopolist due to technological progress, unless any superior technology arises in the market, emerges in the market, and make this current technology outdated. But still, so in this case we can say, if there is some kind of market power, that will always give some incentive for innovation. So that's why we cannot say that competition policy should be adopted everywhere to ensure competition for the betterment or more efficient form of the market.